White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Jake, good morning to you. It's great to have you. So we saw a different side of you yesterday, getting emotional talking about those difficult discussions behind the scenes, and then overnight you witnessed that special moment. I wonder, what was it like watching those Americans step off the plane on U.S. soil?
Well, it's really hard to describe because it was such a human victory. 3 innocent people reunited with their families, their loved ones. Getting to see that was just incredible. But I think it was also a victory for our country. This was the United States of America at its best, working with our allies to bring our people home safe and also to help free freedom fighters, Russians who have fought for democracy in their country and who had been thrown in prison for treason or worse. To be able to be a part of that was truly one of the most extraordinary honors in my life.
And the Americans, how would you describe their conditions? How are they doing this morning?
They were very upbeat last night, and I'll leave it to the doctors who will want to give them a full physical workup out in San Antonio where they were taken, where all of the unjustly detained Americans who are released get taken. But they certainly look to be in good spirits and positive, and of course anytime you get to get off a plane and see your loved ones there after such a long time, it's going to give you a real boost.
And as you know, this deal incredibly complex. 24 prisoners, half a dozen countries. When did you know it was really going to happen, and what was President Biden's role?
Well, to be honest, I knew when I got the call that said the exchange was done. Before that, I thought something could go wrong. But the deal had been in the works for weeks, and in the closing days it became more and more likely that it was going to happen. But I didn't know for sure until it actually did happen. President Biden's role, simple. He did it. He did this deal. It would not have happened without him because it was his relationships with key allies that unlocked the elements we needed to put this deal together. And it was his direction to me and our team that said, figure out a way to execute this so that we get these people home, and that's exactly what happened.
And of course, as you know too, the key to this deal was Krasikov, the convicted assassin who was being held in Germany. How do you respond to criticism that these types of deals only encourage Putin to jail more innocent Americans, to use them as bargaining chips in the future?
Well, first, we've actually looked at the evidence of this over the last 3.5 years. And if you go back to the beginning of the Biden administration, there were a lot more unjustly detained Americans and hostages held overseas than there are today. We've done deals to get 70 Americans out, and we haven't seen another 70 Americans taken. Could that change in the future? It's possible. These are the risks that you have to weigh when you make hard decisions like the president did to get people home. But we think in the cost-benefit analysis, it made sense to do this deal because America gained and innocent Americans are home free and safe.
And speaking of those tough decisions, what about other Americans still in Russia, like Mark Fogel, the teacher serving a 14-year sentence, his family calling it wrong and unacceptable that he wasn't included in this deal? What are you doing for him and others?
Look, we fight for every American to get them to be part of deals, to get them out. We can't always get every person out at the same time. We've seen that before in Russia. Paul Whelan, we were unable to get out in previous deals. We got him out here. And what I can say, and I said this at the podium yesterday, I am personally working on that case, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see Mark get home.
Former President Donald Trump and some of his allies have questioned what the U.S. may have given up in return for these American prisoners. Could you just clarify for us whether anything was offered to the Russians beyond the prisoners in this exchange?
I will happily clarify that nothing was offered to the Russians beyond the prisoners in this exchange. That's it. That's the only thing that was offered. And to the criticism of President Trump, Paul Whelan was taken by the Russians when President Trump was president. Joe Biden got him freed.
Jake Sullivan for us this morning. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.